Well, hello, everyone. My name is Linda Vickers, and we're with Inspired by Her Story. And today I have a guest with me, Marilyn Berdiak, and she's going to share about her mom today. So Marilyn, can you welcome, first of all?
Thank you.
And what would you like to share about your mom?
Well, my story with my mom is maybe a little different, but maybe a lot of people can identify. It's all about, I would say, hope and restoration. When I was a teenager, I would have done anything if my mom would have slapped me, if my mom would have punished me, my mom would have do anything, but she couldn't express her love. She couldn't express anything. Like, I thought any kind of attention was better than no attention, but I never got that. And I pushed her pretty good. And I couldn't get any response except, her crying. So I was very, very happy to leave home and make a life of my own and see where life had went. And then life was a huge struggle for my mom because she became a single parent and she had to work 3 jobs to put food on our table. My father left when I was 16. And so years went by and I became more the caregiver, more the caregiver, more the caregiver. And then I thought, why can my mom not express her feelings? Why can she? I mean, she could say, I love you, but it just seems like something was sort of missing and I never figured what it was. And her friends were always more important. Like I'd make arrangements with her and I said, Mom, why don't we just go out for dinner on Friday night or what have you? I'll just, come, you can meet me and I'll go after work. And then it would be like, she was supposed to be here at 5 o'clock, it's 5:15. Where's my mom? I called her and she says, oh no, I'm going out with so-and-so. I was just devastated. And I'm thinking, like, really, no matter what I did, I never seemed to be able to do anything, but I don't know. It came across, I guess I felt hurt or she felt, I don't know how she felt because I had a forked mouth, forked tongue. And it's because that was my way of trying to get her to respond and to show me that she cared. So fast forward many years later, she remarried. She had different boyfriends, and I would tell her, no, that's not the one. No, Mom, do not get involved in this one. And all she'd do is cry and said, you're always trying to hurt me. You never don't ever want me to be happy and what have you. So anyway, so she married this fella, and all he did was really call her different names. He was very verbally abusive. And so I was like the protector, and it was kind of like, I've always been like the parent to my parents. I mean, that just was. They came to me finding strength, I guess, in who I was as a person, who God made me. And then my mom had a massive stroke. And it was a stroke where I had to brush her teeth, I had to wash her face, I had to feed her, you had to do everything. And then she went into personal care. But I'm going to go back a few years, and my mom and I were on our way to Calgary to find my long lost uncle that I absolutely adored. And I found him through the Salvation Army. And I said, Lord, we're on this road trip. Mom and I need to really talk. And so I said, Lord, would you please show me my mom? Like, why can't she love me the way I needed to be loved? Why can't she support me? Why can't she be there for me? Like, our roles were reversed. I was always the one there for her, supporting her and doing everything for her. Sacrificed a lot of my growing up and everything to be the mom to my mom. Well, I totally was not prepared what the Lord had showed me. And this is where I really want to encourage people who are listening to this today, because you can only love the way that you've been shown love. If you've been abused all your life, verbally or maybe other ways, you could be abused physically, sexually, what have you. You don't understand what love is. It comes across in a very negative way. So that sometimes will, make you escape and maybe look for love in all the wrong places. So on this trip, I started sharing with my mom what the Lord had showed me. My mom was stunned because she said, "Who told you?" And I said, "The Lord." She says, "No one knows that stuff." I said, "He does. And Mom, he loves you." But that was a turning point in our relationship because I got to understand who my mom was. And I got to understand why she did or didn't do the things that she did. So after my mom went into personal care, my heart broke for my mom. I said to him, "Lord, show me what breaks your heart." And that really, really broke me. And that really turned our whole relationship around. The last 2 years, my mom became very peaceful, which I've never seen in her life. And she became my friend. And that's something she always wanted all her life, was for me to be her friend. Well, I couldn't be her friend. I couldn't, we were a disconnect. We couldn't connect. And I took a lot of responsibility even away from her husband. Again, I don't know, I just seemed to take the role, not that I wanted to, but because he, just really wasn't there. He was more into himself. And I mean, when my mom was dying, I think he came maybe half an hour the whole week to see her. We just kind of left everything up to her. Like that's kind of like your job, you do whatever. So the life lesson that I learned from my mom is not always to take things the way you see them.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the Lord and just say, "Lord, how do you see that person? Or how do you see me? Like, what is missing in me? Or what has happened to me? Do we have heart wounds that need to be healed?" I can say that even like as a mom, never mind as a daughter. I mean, I just learned maybe 10 years ago what it's like to be a daughter. I've never known that. I've never had a parent where I could go and talk to, they always came to me. I said, "Something's wrong with this picture. Shouldn't you be going to each other? What are you coming to me for the advice and what have you?" So, I mean, that's just the way it was. And it was through a course that we took at our church. And it was, take a few minutes and ask the Lord how he saw you. And then he said, "I see you as a daughter." I was just broken. I thought, I've never heard those words. I mean, it was amazing to me. I thought, wow. And that really took me on another life journey to find out then, what does it mean to be a daughter? And, how all the roles, and try to figure out what your roles are. And then, what does it mean for you to be a mom? And how can you learn from mistakes of your growing up? So I could be more of a support to my son, not an enabler. I refuse to enable. I refuse to do that. Don't invite me to your victim party, because I'm not coming. If you can't be victorious, that's the only party I will not come to. I'm sorry, it won't be there. You can cancel the invitation before you send it out, because I won't do it. So I learned a lot there. I learned, to see people through God's eyes and not through my brokenness. So it was good. So hopefully that brings some hope and encouragement to somebody else, because sometimes we are sandpaper to one another, and we have to know some of those things that need to be sanded off, and some of those things that the true person, the true identity that God has created us to be, is a person that we need to, stand up. Just like in roll call, you say Marilyn, and then you'd stand up, say here.
Right.
Are we here? Are we really present? Are we escaping? Like, what are we doing? And really, when it does hurt, and discipline is not fun, but God says he disciplines those he loves. So that's that's my life lessons, for me. And it was interesting. Look at my mom. I'd go visit her, and she'd be sleeping, and I think, "This is ridiculous. I may as well go home." And I'd go, and she said, "Oh, don't leave." She'd wake up, and I'm thinking, just like a child, right? Don't go, Mom. Don't go, Mom. And I say, "Why, Mom?" And she says, "Because I just feel so secure just having you here." I
Oh,
thought,
that's
wow,
beautiful.
wow, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it took a while, but you did get the relationship you needed.
Well, it was amazing. Because God gave me love for her. It was his love. It
Mhm.
wasn't my human love. It was his love, because she, like they say, when you get older, you kind of reverse and you become little children again. And she was like a little child. She really was like a child. But I loved helping her. I loved, I mean, we had some, fun times even in her difficult situation because she just lay and look at the ceiling all day long. That's what she did for 2 years, 24/7. And so one night when I was brushing her teeth and I said, "Okay, Mom, that's it." She says, "No, you missed one." I said, "What?" I said, "No, I didn't, Mom. I did everything else." Yeah, you did. I said, "Mom, there's no tooth there. There's no tooth there." Something and we started laughing. Like Mom always loved to laugh. She was through it all. It was amazing that my mom could laugh considering what, she went through. She was, it was very difficult for our parents who lived through the dirty 30s. My
Yeah.
mom was pulled out of school. The teachers begged her not to go out. She was such a good student and everything. And then she would have to go on her hands and knees and clean wood floors and what have you. And then she would come home for about an hour taking the splinters out of her knees. Like it was very difficult,
Yeah.
extremely difficult time. So when the Lord showed me a lot of those things, it
Yeah.
changed my heart. You see, we always want them to change, but really in reality, it's us. So let's just be willing to change and become the daughters, the women that God has called us to be.
At this time. Yeah. Because he's calling us for this time. Yeah. That's very good. So she taught you a lot, and that's a good memory to close with then at the nursing home. Just having fun and finding peace with your mom.
Hmm. Yeah, the end was better than the beginning. When mom was in her worst shape and what have you, she couldn't talk, she couldn't communicate. I taught her, I said, "Mom, if a day ever comes that you can't talk to me, this is what I want you to do. When I hold your hand and I ask you a question, is your name Marion? And the answer being yes, you blink once." I said, "Okay, Mom, can you do that? Is your name Marion?" So Mom would blink and we'd laugh. And then I say, "Okay, and asked her no question. Okay, Mom, are you 29 years old?" Of course, then she'd laugh. And then I said, "Well, if the answer is no, you blink twice." And
Okay.
that week that mom was dying, we stayed with her 24/7. We never left her. We ate there, we slept there, we just ran home, had a shower, came back. And the nurses said, "I can't believe, look at your mom." And I said, "Ask my mom a question." And I said, "Mom, now you answer her. If they said, 'Are you okay, Marion?' And if you are, you say yes, Mom." And she blinked twice. They were absolutely stunned that Mom and I had that communication. That I prepared my mom for her death way before, because I said, "Mom, one thing I'm going to let you know right now, as much as I love you, you'll never live with me. So I want you to know that right now because it would not be a good thing. It would not be a good thing, you know. But yeah, no, I prepared my mom many ways. She came to know Jesus. She wanted to know about my Jesus, and that was, really good, wonderful. And yeah, it really was. The last 2 years, unfortunately, with her bedridden and having to do everything for her, was the best her life, and it was the best for us as her children.
Yeah, sometimes it's a lot of times it's in the difficulties where we grow, and when we learn about ourselves. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for sharing about your mom, Marilyn. It's I mean, we can be inspired by your mom's story and by how you handled all that,
Hmm.
as a daughter. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we need to get our eyes off ourselves.
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.